Okay, we're back. Had my drink, and we'll step into and see what this civ has to offer. I did mention the Italians were pretty tame. Let's see what the civ can do. Again, I'm focusing only on the civs, but just to be clear here, it's not just the civs. There's plenty of other very interesting content which is included in this. You're not just paying for the civs, you're paying for various other things. So this is not like the Italians. You get your regular villagers start, your settlers, you got your grades. You do have this collection of books at the moment.
Commander, yes.
This is your explorer, Alain Magnan. No, it looks like him, but it's just his brother or something.
Yes,
Get Nova and Orion. Got your shipments in. Choose the deck. Choose the deck, and here you go. So maybe the first thing I want to show off is this sheep here. Look at this sheep. Just look at that sheep. And maybe we can do better than this sheep. Maybe we can do better. Like this is picturesque by itself, but we can do better. So let's ship this card instead. It doesn't ship you an extra explorer. Let's have a read at what it does. Right. Improves your Grand Master in combat, so that's what the unit is called. Your explorer is called the Grand Master. Enables him to boost nearby building construction speed and gives him a powerful Caprine companion. Delivers one Lamb of the Lord. It's a heroic sheep scout that cannot attack. So, what does it do? What does it do? It's arriving soon. Oh, I can't wait. Yeah. Discount sheep. Actual sheep. In fact, it's a Lamb of the Lord. So here you go. I mean, we had intrepid turkey scouts and all that. Now you got your sheep scout. You can't gather treasures. Don't know if it can be. It's a sea stealth pet hero, so you can't have villagers kind of hunted for food or anything like that. Here you go. Yeah. So as you can see, this is a stream which makes sure to point out all of the most important content. So this is the number one thing I thought I ought to show you, because it's very important. Now, what else do we have in here is that you notice that after I sent that card, your settlers are now 153 hit points. Now, how did that happen? The Maltese civ, this unique civ bonus, aside from all the other stuff in there, which we'll talk about later, is that for every card you send, which I believe is not an infinite card or something, it grants Maltese units extra 2% hit points. So that's why 2% on 150 plus 3. So this stacks. So I can send you another card, right? Send Merchant Republics. Greek Fire, in fact. I send Merchant Republics. 156 HP. Similarly here. Maybe it doesn't affect that one. It doesn't affect the sheep. It doesn't affect the commander guy. What's it called? The Grand Master. So it doesn't affect that, but it affects Maltese units. So certain units get affected. I presume there's a sort of tag defining which ones do and which ones don't get affected. We'll look dock as well. Have a look at their age up bonuses. So these are actually fairly standard. There's nothing weird going on from age 1 to age 2. We'll look dock here as well. It's not shown here, but this civ is similar to your other standard European civs in that you get 3 villagers. These are Maltese. It's a Maltese civ. Not that much in age 1, I have to say.
Ready.
Not that much in age 1. Okay, you can see that this guy can actually build trading posts and outposts. Seems pretty standard. I mean, yeah. Nothing surprising there.
Yes.
There's some other stuff in the background there. I want to know what those are for. Okay, let's go on to the next one. So we'll age up with the quartermaster because we want to be as you know, as vanilla as possible. So speed always wins. Age up the quartermaster. Can build. What can we build? We can build barracks. No, we can't build barracks. We can build hospitals. So what do these hospitals do? This is basically going to be your barracks. It costs 100 wood at this point in time. It trains Maltese infantry and actually heals as well. And there's no limit as far as I am aware. Okay. So you can build the hospitals. And it trains crossbowmen. Important unit here, pikemen. Hospitalers, however they're pronounced. And it also builds trains sentinels. So this is 200 resources to population, and this is 100 resources to population. Now you might be thinking, why is this so pop inefficient? Well, we'll see later on why that actually deserves to be pop inefficient. But since we're in age 2, I just want to stroll over to this side, maybe mid-map. Maybe later on I'll show what's going on. So we train these units first. I think you've already seen them before. So these have a kind of aura ability. It's like a reverse aura, because it's not that they affect units around them. It's more like they get affected by certain criteria. So actually you've got the deflection going on. You got the courage aura, so it runs faster near own and allied buildings. So right now you got a 5-speed unit because it's running around your town center. But if I send it outside of range, this 5-speed will become something else. Similarly, if you're here, this is currently this can build outposts, by the way, as well. Yes, sir. But this unit is stronger near own and allied buildings. So currently it's 202 HP, including the stat from the 2%. Well, they're kind of expensive halves, 120. This is basically the cost of a hussar, right? Okay, Sentinel. We'll move the Sentinel forward. It's still 202. It's gone down. So it gives you a sort of aura boost because it's out of near the town center. So from all the way down from 167 here, we'll just move into line of sight of the town center here. Goes up to 202. So it's quite a significant boost.
Yes.
I wonder when it's going to build something. What else? So we got these hospitals and they heal units. You got unique church tech, so I do speed always wins. Speed always wins. Wins. You got your unique church techs. So this thing is spawning hospitals based on the number you have, or hospitals you have on the map. Okay, and you can actually use, I think one of these church techs allows these hospitals to actually build hospitalers to actually build more hospitals. But not by default. There's all sorts of extra things you can add on to these units.
Yes.
Okay, what else have we covered? We're going. I'm taking things slow because you've seen Italy. You've seen what Italy can do. I'm also going to go Malta and what Malta can do. So one of these things you can do is also build a unique unit here. So unique unit is Order Galley. It apparently also gets affected by this plus 2% thing. So I think base is 750, but it gets affected. It's stronger than a galley, a regular galley. And one of the other things that's going on here for the Maltese is that you have these units where I suppose there's maybe a micro element to it. Because you got this concept of promotion. So not all the units have this, but what happens is that you can send this, you can train certain units or send certain units, and every time they actually kill a unit, they get promoted. And every promotion actually increases the stats of the unit. So what you can do is you can have kind of elite versions of your units mixed in with the regular versions. Right? I forget which other units have it as well, but so these galleys are one. So if you sink a boat with this, then the stats will go up. I think it's just a military ship, so it's not just fishing boats. So every caravel you sink, you will have an upgrade on these. So I think it's extra HP, extra attack, stuff like that. Okay. However, there's a cap. You can only go up to tier 3, I believe. Tier 3 of upgrades. So it's not like you can go all the way to infinity and get like a 5,000 HP boat or anything like that. No. What else am I missing here? So this one is like an aura card, which increases natural gather rate. Let me just send this now. Yeah. So you can see they got. Well, maybe you can't see right now, but okay, now you can see. While they're gathering, your base gather rate on coin is like 0.6 because you send this card, and because of the natural resource near town center or an outpost is gathering 30% faster. So that makes up for how you lack villager cards except for age 1, where you have infinite 2 villagers and 3 villager cards. You got kind of mercenary units as well. So this costs 500 coin to send. You get 7 of these. These are like your lands, right? These also so these also get your promotion. So maybe I'll showcase how promotion works here, because these get promotion. Send them over to our friend over here, Padre. Applies to any natural resource, and I believe it's based on line of sight. But if you're gathering over here, you can plop down an outpost for that nice 30% bonus. Go in here. I think it works in villages, so we'll just kill one here for science. Now, do we have any of these? Does it work? It has to be a military unit. Okay. So it has to be a military unit, so what we're going to do is we're going to go inside the door, and then we're going to run off. Hopefully... Okay. So this is what's going on, right? Your regular unit looks regular. Your this was that aura, that thing was because of the that was because of the aura from your the hero guy. Over here, what's going on is that you have you can't really make them up so well the same way you would make out, say, a Mansabdar unit, right? You kind of have to look at very closely. So it's not that easy to kind of pull back units, but you can see, as you could see earlier, that there's bronze rank, right? There's a very slight thing over here, which grants it 15% hit points and faster attack speed. So it's quite a bit better than a regular one of these. So that's the promotion system works. Right now is not really that easy to micro because of how you can't easily visually identify them. but you can actually, but the fact of the matter is that they get upgraded while fighting, right? So there is that. I don't want this guy to die. He's got a very important role to play.
Commandment? Yes.
Okay, what else can we do here? There's no hook throwers in here. So you can build a fort.
Ready.
Build a nice H2 fort.
Evol.
Relatively tame, to be honest. It does cost you 600, 500. And from your fort, this artillery foundry as well, I'm not sure. They can build fire throwers. And then you have different, flamethrowers, so basically makes them like an actual flamethrower. They have a flamethrower animation, which is quite interesting. I'll show the regular attack first. So it's like that, is like arsonist, kind of. Oh, you've already seen these in the campaign. Okay, let's go and find something to hunt. So not the flamethrower attack, it's a charged ability. It's a close range attack. So for a short while, and then we switch back to the regular attack. So it's a charge attack, which gives them flamethrowers. So these guys like playing in fire. Okay. It does cost a card. It does cost a card. Again, obviously, not everything you see in this build is final. Now, there is this thing called Trip to Jerusalem, which seems like could be quite strong. It returns 10 wood and 10 coin for each unit you've lost so far this game. Also, this is a thing. I'm not going to send it, but it is a thing. Got wall guns. So what this does is it makes freeze some certain players by the DLC. So what do we have? What are sentinels? Sentinels are these units. They're ranged attack. They have ranged attack. Right now 29 ranged attack. And that's with the bonus of being near the town center. I'm going to build a wall here. One wall segment. 29 range attack, 12 range. Maybe I need more walls for this to work. I've never actually tested it. Okay, so you can see that the range has increased from 12 to 13. So that's the effect, right? By default is like a musketeer, which can build outposts, sure. But after sending this card, if you have more walls, then you get more and more range, more walls. You get different stats. Increases range. Yeah, it can increase to quite a bit. Won't go over that too much. Now, okay, so this is one thing. So what is this? This is a depot wagon. What does a depot wagon do? I mean, if anyone's played the campaign, what do they think a depot wagon does? It does explode in all caps, right? It will explode if destroyed. So it constructs a depot filled to the brim with gunpowder. So you got your yin and yang. You got these guys have chosen peace, peace and security, hospitals. What a nice civ, peaceful, building hospitals all along the map, training like weapons of war. But you've also got this on the other side. So what does this do? This does not stand for peace. It stands for violence. It stands for violence. It's dynamite, yeah. So it explodes if destroyed, damaging all. So it doesn't just damage enemy units, it damages your own units. So you build a bunch of these in base, and these get sieged down. They're gonna affect your own units as well. So I'm gonna like move a few units to this thing here. Now how does it work? There's two ways it can work. Either it gets sieged and then it dies natural death, or it can be activated manually. It's not instant, because if it was instant, that would definitely be too broken. But if you click this now, it's free. I mean, so you have an initial investment. So if you send this card, then you get one of these with every shipment. That's one way of getting them. I'll go over another way in a short while. This indicator will be shown to everyone, and it is quite a bit of damage. That's a lot of damage, right? For 54. It damages your own units as well. These seem to auto heal. I think something's. Oh wait, these are healing because of hospitals, of course. So hospitals are healing them. But you have these depots, right? I'll send another card here, and you know, you can trigger them to explode. So you can have two of them built here. When the army comes marching by, set off the bomb, wait for the bomb to go off, and if you're lucky, they were looking at something else, and they walk past this building, this unassuming building, or in fact they could still be looking at it, they just could not know exactly what it is. There are some players who don't know exactly what the new civs are and what they do, and as a result that make for very entertaining content when they're up against the new civs. More on that later on. So you have this, you can build your depot wagon quite quickly. I don't know if you can use it to kill animals. I don't think they kill animals. Let's just put a sheep here, see if it actually kills a sheep. It doesn't damage the sheep, so I would assume that it doesn't damage animals either. But it will damage shrines, for example. It should damage buildings. So that's all well and good. But you see this trading post over here. In fact, you see this lamb over here. I mean, I think many of you have seen this lamb. Well, some of you have not though. So it's some of you just tuning in and might not used to see it. So this is accessible by a card, but it's very important. So I'm just showing this. That is very heroic sheep. It's the Lamb of the Lord. Doesn't say anything about Garia in there, but it's the Lamb of the Lord. Okay.
Yes?
He's here.
Ready.
I showed earlier he can build trading posts.
Yes.
He can build outposts. With a card, he can build a fort for 1.1k resources very slowly. But he's in H2.
Yes.
But what else can he do? He can build these depots. There's only one unit building them. So, okay. One way was by having these things coming from your home city.
Ready.
Another one is this guy can actually build them. He's a demolitions expert. So he's, just like the real real Italians in life. Like they know the way around weapons, explosives, things like that. So true to that in real life, a lane magnet. Well, this guy, this grandmaster,
ready.
He can build mines around the map.
There's
a limit of 20. There's a limit of 20. So you invested 300 resources here, and then see this. Each of these can detonate. Select all of them. Let to detonate each of them individually. And we don't look at the explosions, do we? Okay, maybe we do. Cool guys, don't look at explosions, but we will look at the explosion because that was quite spectacular. So that's how it works. You can actually also use this explorer to build landmines around the map. You can't put it on water, unfortunately. But you can build landmines around the map. For example, near natural resources.
Yes.
We can build them mid-map just to deter. But as I mentioned, like when you start detonating, there is a fuse, and the enemy can also see that thing going on. You can't cancel it. Once you've that actual fuse, once you put that in, once you put that in, that's it. So that's one of the ways you can detonate it. The other way is by people sieging it down, and actually if you siege it down to I think 25% HP, and then it starts decaying and will automatically detonate by itself. So it's not like you put these landmines on the map and then units come by, they siege it, and there is no way to actually control the detonation. In other words, once it is here, that's it. You can't do anything about it. No, it's not like that. If you kind of time it so that this goes down to only like 25% HP, so you can just run off. I say just run off, but it's really not that easy. This is a mechanic which will make for some very interesting comments. Now, let's go. I mean, we'll one last explosion here. Okay, so we've gone over H2. Various things going on in H2. Not everything though. Not everything though. There is something else that you can do starting in H2. Let's just build a few houses. There is another thing you can do in H2. We'll send a villager over here as well. And while waiting for that, I'm going to take a very quick 1 minute break. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back, and I've taken a break for a reason, because there is a lot of stuff going on, and this is one of those things which take some time to internalize. Okay. So there is this Commandery. You've seen all these cards buffing advanced commanderies and stuff. So let's see what this actually does. So commanderies are built faster and may deploy units more often. Deploy is a rather general term, so maybe what might it do? If you read the description, you might think that okay, it's maybe spawning units for free, a bit like a dojo or something. You can these are like the cost of a castle, right? It's slightly more expensive, 100 coin instead of 50 coin. You gotta build them of 4, but the build limit can be increased. I'll build one here. And you can see it's quite similar to something you see in the campaign. Right? Very quite similar to what you see in the campaign. There's like a command post in the campaign as well. It looks nice, nice architecture. So what could this possibly do? What could this possibly do? I wonder if there's any guesses in the chat. Anyone wanna hazard a guess at what this is? It's interesting. It's fun. It's definitely fun. I guess you can think Japan a bit. There is something similar. Okay. For one thing, you can garrison villages in it. You know. And you know how for the Incan Civ bonus, you have certain buildings like Calanca's, you have the fortress, which you can garrison in military units. And by the way, there's something in this, so it's not just these new civs, there's something very good in this build, in that whenever you garrison military units in a building, there's a delay. They cannot instantly garrison. Well, the fact is that you can actually garrison them in this. So that's one thing, right? You can garrison them. I'm gonna garrison all a bunch of things. I don't even gonna. I can all sorts of things. I'm gonna garrison all in here. 4 settlers, 2 sentinels, 40. So it's got like, you could put probably 50 units in here. You can train kind of expensive hussars. They don't actually have very good stats for the cost, so that you can see they're slightly more expensive. 10 food and 10 coin extra compared to a regular hussar. We look at the stats. I'm leading into various things. I'm just showing you things first. We'll take things slowly. You know, there's an order hussar.
Yes.
It does have better stats right now because of, I mean, it is distorted by the Maltese Civ bonus, where every card you send, which is not an infinite card, it gives you extra 2 hit points. Okay, now you may be wondering, what does this thing do? Well, I mean, you put villagers in the town center. You can pop villagers out of the town center. So what is so special about this building? Like, what is so special that garrisoning and ungarrisoning is, like, it required some guy to actually sit down and actually make a new icon. So deploys all garrison units at this location. Okay. Got a nice fortified base, doing stuff. Your opponent's doing stuff. He's happy. He's seeing your army. It's all in here. They've holed up in this. It doesn't increase the attack or anything. It doesn't seem like doesn't function similarly to, say, an Incan fortress or a Calanca in that sense. What it does do, however, and I hope you are all watching this, because this is a very interesting mechanic. Correct. I have a commandery over here, so I did build this over here. And now I'm about to click this button, and boom. Yeah, so now in Age of Empires 3, you can finally build tunnels somehow. Alright? Now I have to say that this is not like you can do it. You can like pop units in and out the same way you do for Incas. There is like a cooldown, and there are cards which reduce the cooldown. Right. So if I put these in here, first of all, there's this delay in which they need to be able to garrison in the building, and second of all, there's how once you've used it, you cannot garrison units into it until the cooldown finishes. You cannot ungarrison units and stuff like that. By default, you can get a maximum of 4 of these, but I think there are cards which can increase the build limit. So it's interesting. You could have, say, a fortified base. You could have whatever you want. Behind your opponent is sieging you. You've got your 10 walls or whatever. Your 3 forts, I don't know, Callan, up to you. We're still in Age 2. In fact, let's go to Age 3 first. We'll start going to Age 3. Get ourselves an order galleon. We go in Age 3. We go in places, go in Age 3. But, you know, all these units were to turn base. they're feeling relatively happy, safe, all those positive feelings that you get from watching Len on a stream, you know, for sure. And then sneaky thing on the back. Boom. You can also use the ungarrison hotkey, by the way. So it's an interesting mechanic. I don't know how broken it will be or if it will need to be tweaked, but this exists. And at the same time, you know, it's not too different from how on an old TAD you could stack certain cards and have certain units train instantly. Like for example, with Russia, you could build a blockhouse here and instantly spam out 50 units, for example. Or you could, in the old like version of thoroughbreds, or even the current version, I'm not sure, on TAD, you could instantly train Gengai versus from a stable. In fact, in Treaty, you still have that sort of thing going on, right? This is a different approach. You can decide what you want. You can make your unit compositions ahead of time. You use your tactics, distract everyone. Pop them out, pop them in here, pop them out here. So there's a few ways I can think of this menu. So one, of course, is for the you know, this thing of surprising your opponent, making him think everything is down here. Got a big army down here. Actually, it's popping out, right? And for raiding, of course, right? Because you've got a unit of certain type, you send them out here, the counter is coming, you can send them to here and they'll garrison after a few seconds and be safe and pop them out, no problem. Another way is building these on top of resources. For example, you could have increased efficiency by placing a commandery here, and then a commandery here, and instead of having to walk this long distance, you could just pop villagers in here and pop them out here. And similarly, you can keep your villagers safe from large armies by just putting them in here and then ungarrison them at home or something like that. Now it's important to note that this cooldown here applies to even when you're ungarrisoning regular villagers. So if you have lots of villagers, maybe just 7 here. I can reduce the in-game volume slightly. Microphone volume, not much I can do about that. But okay, so you send villagers here. If you ungarrison them, it's still the same thing even if I ungarrison from here, right? It actually uses up the ability even if I do a regular ungarrison through the hotkey, for example, and if it's just a villager. So you do have to be careful about how you use it, because it will block you from using the ability even if it's just villagers. So you can't quite pop villagers in and then, oh, it's safe now, pop them out, and then suddenly they come back, because you won't be able to garrison in this instantly. So there's a trade-off. But what you can do is, of course, go in here, you're out of resources here on this side of the map, put them here, got hunts here, boom. Efficiency, like look at this. This is Maltese efficiency. Would have never thought of it. Now, you can also send Malta doesn't have skirmisher type units by default, so these are their kind of special units, but you can get different units, so you can get crossbowmen, pikemen. You can get kind of mercenary skirmisher units. So for example, this is Pandurs, notorious skirmishers, kind of skirmishers. So it's kind of, you get the skirmishers through other means, so they're not a default unit. But as I said, I mean, fire throwers are pretty good skirmishers, and fire throwers and flamethrowers by themselves. So I'm sending this, but maybe I want to send a fixed gun. Yeah, wormholes are a thing now. Maybe put them on the island here, put villagers on here. So you know how people used to do these annoying things where they just hide on the island and they have all these naval units. Well, now there's a way to sneak off the island. Just sneak a village around, build one of these commanderies, and out they go. You're no longer stuck there. You got free land. So you can build a fixed gun. You can, I think, there is a way to make them rotate. I don't have the hotkey set up. I think by default you can rotate them. Is it control? That's not control. Maybe it's because I've got something bound over it. But you can construct fixed guns. Right? You send this card. You can construct fixed gun. Build fixed gun over here. You know, obviously it's like a building. Build it here. Building a fixed gun. It does get affected by the plus 2% bonus as well. Now, what does this fixed gun do? It does fixed gun things. Boom. So these cost population. So it's not like currently they cost 7 population, right? It's not like you can spam a bunch of them around your base, build a 200 population army, and then attack. No, they cost population. So they're like a cannon, but a cannon which is immobile. They've also got the ability to be sold, so I'll show that in a while. But anyway, and they also got this long range bombardment attack. So this range is quite nice in and of itself. But you can also use a long range attack, which is 55 range. So these seem pretty strong. I mean, put a bunch of them half map, you got your monitors. But they do cost 100 wood, 600 coin here. They do have a minimum range. You can't attack these units. They do have a minimum range, I'm not exactly sure how much. But you can, once you send built units over to siege, that's it. This gun is practically useless. So you know, thinking you can ship this card, build a fixed gun wagon. It's a bit like the big boys from Ethiopia. Actually, we're coming back to this guy. We saw how he was a demolitions expert. There's various ways you can use this, by the way. I'll show. I'll maybe build a few depot wagons. Yeah, we'll just detonate this. So this guy, he can also build fixed guns. He can build fixed guns. Of course, it's only one guy who can build it, but nevertheless, you can do this. It does take up pop space, right? So you can see that after building 12 fixed guns at the moment, I'm at my pop cap. Currently, there's no build limit. Of course, I mean, as I said, this is still like a preview sort of thing, right? Currently, there is no build limit. They might change in the future. I have no idea. But right as it stands right now, the way these function is that you can build them with your explorer in your base, or whatever. There's kind of there needs to be a gap between them, and then do fixed gun things with them. So there's two ways of thinking about this. One is someone can build these in base, and it'll be a bit difficult to attack, although of course culverins do counter them. These are artillery and buildings at the same time, and culverins actually get a bonus against both artillery and buildings, so that's why it's not as bad as it seems. I'd say they can be countered, and of course you saw how there was a minimum radius. 34 range is actually more than a falconet. A falconet is like 26, I believe. Falconet's 26 range, but a culverin is 34 range, so it has like the same range as a culverin. You can also pack these up if they're at full health. So I got 8,700. Boom. It takes a while, but after a while, the fixed gun will be removed from the battle, and it'll refund your resources, a certain proportion of your resources. Okay, and I know this is really good for defending against boats and all that. I have to say, it's a building and quite a lot of range.
Yes.
So you can build all of these, and this has refunded its costs up to that. So it doesn't cost anything to refund it, but it just takes a while. Yeah. So this civ likes fire. I'll build an outpost somewhere. Boom. Anyway, I'll build an outpost somewhere. Oh, by the way, one of the best ways for sure that you can use a depot is, you know how it's it gives you XP for killing units. It actually gives you XP when you kill your own units as well. Any unit you destroy is one of these. So if you need a shipment, right? You just desperately need a shipment. No problem. You can build a bunch of units, and then you can also just send them to the deaths. So I need more of them, but the idea is that you can generate XP by just detonating your own units, you know, stuff like that. Smart ways to play the game, you got them all here. If they are damaged, you cannot actually deconstruct them. So you can only deconstruct them if they're at full HP. So even if it's like 2789 out of 2790, that's it. It's been damaged. You cannot refund. You cannot deconstruct it. But it does function like a regular building. So if you repair it and it goes up to 100% health, then after that you can deconstruct it. So this ability is only available at full HP. They cost 7 pop each, but they are pretty good at defending defensive positions. I'll just do this again. This applies to the Incan garrison as well, so we will no longer have that annoying mechanic. We'll still be there, but it won't be as annoying as before. Hooray. Now, so this is getting deconstructed. So you can see how this one unit can do a lot of things. It can, it's you know, it can do this and all that. Put an outpost here. I'll send this card. So now he's got a fire attack as well. I haven't seen it in action, but this still loves to play with fire. In fact, I didn't show you exactly what you can do in water just yet. So your regular units are this one, which is stronger than a regular galley, and of course it's got the whole promotion gimmick. It doesn't get promoted from destroying fishing boats, it only gets promoted from destroying other military ships. I haven't tested it on land units, but presumably that's working properly. You got your galleon, you got your frigate, you got your monitor. As I said, this ship loves to play with fire, so you can actually send Greek fire. Send a fire ship. It goes, you know? Of course, this is because speed always wins. They don't actually train instantly. But you got fire all around. Fire everywhere. There was something else I wanted to show, but it doesn't appear to be here. I forgot how I get it. I'm sure someone will show it on stream at some other point. Our game's crashed. That's fine, we'll start it back up. But that does seem to me to be most of the Maltese features that I wanted to go over. Always like usually it's going to be some guy in a Discord channel coming up with probably the most overpowered strat in the game, but there are no super strong 4-minute rushers that I'm aware of, which is a good thing. Oh yeah, I didn't show off this this card, but it's basically just shipping one of those Commandery wagons and shipping a non-Maltese unit and giving you the ability to train them. And you got these rocket cars, also like different things you need for. What else would I want to show? I'm pretty sure there was something else. Was it this? No. It might have been with the Italians. There was a special unit. Anyway, I think that kind of covers how each civ plays. Each civ has different bonuses. If you want to recap, the Italians, which I showed earlier, they have the unique bonus that with every technology they research, they get villagers spawning at the home city shipment point. The Maltese, for every shipment sent, the hit points of Maltese units increase by 2%. And then you have also for the Italians, you have the Architect, which builds buildings for free, but slowly. So it's like villager gathering wood, pretty much. You got the Lombards, which are like specialized markets, which give you your trade over time, like a resource trickle. Building one of them just increases the rate at which things get converted. You got different mercenary shipments. You got the unique Italian crossbowmen, Bevisiers. Got this Milanese arsenal thing. You know, advanced Lombard cards. You got the papal big church thing, which takes out a lot of the map. You got your papal bombard. Various upgrade cards. And that was how Italy worked, and everyone was happy. I was quite happy. Quite an interesting civ. We'll see how that fares. And then we also got the Maltese, which has lots of interesting things to try out. You got the flamethrowers, all the fire. You got the very important Sheep Explorer. You got the Order Galleys, the unique units from the campaign. I didn't show the Sentinels too much, but there was a card which gave them a bit extra range and stuff like that. 16 sheep. Various different cards. You'll be able to check this all out on by your own, you know, at your leisure when the DLC comes out in approximately 2 weeks' time. So, 2 weeks' time, 26th of May. Let me just put up the promotional thing again, in case anyone just came a bit late here. Got this, yeah. So Mediterranean. As far as civs go, you've got Italy and you also got Malta. Right. So going back here. Boom, 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 boom. And of course, who can forget the underground tunnels, which apparently exist in Age of Empires 3. So you can garrison units in one end, but not the other. All sorts of different units going on. I think also the other thing which Civ has is the promotion thing. So you get units which have extra stats for every extra unit they kill, up to a maximum of a rank of 3. I think that's as far as it goes for the Civ overviews.